What's good, YouTube? Good morning. We constantly are in change, like a river, but we also have a form of constancy. We are infinitely individual, but we meet other people on a common level of consciousness and communication language. This is where the worlds overlap and we can share them. And it's in the difference, in the individual difference, in the strangeness of people, where we feel alive and we recognize our own strangeness and individuality. When I was in archery yesterday, I realized when you focus on the process of how you, on the shot process of how you shoot the arrow, which is a flow in itself. It's a flow, it's a change. You change from position to position, but it's not really that there is a number of positions, it's one flow. And at the end of the flow, the arrow is released. So it's one flow, one change. And when you focus on the process, that you do it correct, you move correctly, you have the back tension, you do all movements in one flow, and you visualize it, what you're doing. By the way, I personally do a kind of, sometimes, a reverse visualization, which means when I draw, when I go to full draw with the bow, I visualize that in the process of drawing, I draw the arrow that is already stuck in the target back into my hand, and then I release it on the track back into the target, something like that. But that being said, you need to understand there is no, our infinite individuality. When it comes to consciousness, it gets conceptualized and gets put into language, into words, into symbols, into units. It gets dumped down, it gets broken down, but it has got the beauty that it can be communicated and shared with others. And we have fantasy, and words also have a tone, a color, an emotional color, the way I say it, and so on, in order to refill it, rebreathe some life into it. But what I want to say, you need to understand, in reality, it's all one flow. Emotion is a flow. You are one flow. It's just that words, language, and consciousness make things boxable, categorizable, cut it down into units. But that is an illusion. It's all one flow. All right. And when you focus on the process, doing it correctly, moving in the correct form, having the right posture, you don't regret. No matter the result, okay? Disregarding the result. So whether the arrow hits perfectly or not, you did it in the right form, you move correctly. And this is something that persists. The form, the training persists because you have a muscle memory. It changes, it literally changes your body over time. The result is fading immediately. The result is fading. But the posture and the learning process, the correct form remains. All right. So I just wanted to say that, and this applies, of course, to many other things in life. Move correctly and you won't regret what you have done, disregarding the result. Oh man, we could go deeper here, but I don't want to unpack all the moral implications again. But it goes in the direction that ideas can be very good, but ideology becomes very bad when people think they have to use the same recipe and walk blindly just because now they have the solution. In other words, as soon as you think you got it, as soon as you think you understand it, you stop learning and you kind of make the process. And a process that should be in flow, alive, you kill the process. When you think, now I know it, now I can do it, I am this, I am that, this interrupts the flow. This lets you stop learning. You stop learn when you have the exclusive mindset, when you think you're better than others, all right? You're only inclusive, and in that flow, in that constant change, because learning can also mean to unlearn, because the world is changing, so that what you have used to be successful in the old world might not serve you anymore. So you have to unlearn and relearn new. And only when you keep the inclusive mindset, you can do this. It means you don't know nothing. You understand the nature of flow, of infinity. And from this underlying subconscious current emanates the world we can share, we can put in language, we can box, we can count, we can compare. But that is just a reflection of a world of a different nature, of an infinite nature, of an ever-changing nature. At the same time, infinite and ever-changing. All right? You see now? So yeah. That's the message for today. Nothing special, right?